It is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. K-Man Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The K-Man Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Wednesday, the 8th day of April 2020. Hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember that the life you save may be your own. For those of you who have lost loved ones over the past few days, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you, and we hope and trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times. And of course, again, we want to give a big shout out to our colleague, DJ Lynn, as well, and wish for him a speedy recovery also. We also note that the leader of the opposition in Jamaica, Dr. Peter Phillips, is reported to be suffering from stage 3 colon cancer, and he's undergoing chemotherapy. We want to wish him all the best and a successful recovery as well. I did mention those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, and again, we want to remind you, unless you absolutely have to be out there on the roads of the Cayman Islands, please stay at home. And when you are out, remember the whole issue of personal distancing, staying at least 6 feet away from the person next to you. You want to observe that. We know that here in the Caribbean, we have this tendency of, wanting to be close to each other. You'll call someone and say, I need to talk to you. I need to see you to talk to you. Converse on the telephone. Use other means, social media, whatever, to communicate with each other. You want to ensure that you keep that distance, because that has been proven to be one of the most effective measures when it comes to controlling the coronavirus. Here in the Cayman Islands, because of the fact that there's a limited amount of testing that is going on, we have to use all of the other measures that have been successful, because if you pretend that you have the virus, or the person with whom you're communicating, or who you may be standing by has the virus, once you start to observe that personal distancing, then that will help as well. There are still reports coming out of crowds, for instance, at Smith's Bacadere, teeming with people. Bear in mind that when it comes to exercise, you should exercise with no more than 2 persons in a group. And for swimming purposes, that should obtain as well. 1 hour and a half for exercise. It doesn't mean that you have to go out there and exercise for 1 hour and a half straight. You can split it up if you want to as well. That hour and a half for exercise includes if you have to use some type of transport to get to the point where you're going to exercise. That time that it takes for you to get there and to get back home counts as well. So if it takes you 15 minutes to get there and 15 minutes to get back home, you only have 1 hour to exercise, really. And people want to ensure that they observe that as well. Again, the most effective way right now that we know, one of the most effective ways, is the personal distancing. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Phone lines are always open. And again, this morning, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson that is waiting there to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where we encourage you to send us a text message or leave us a voice note. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning, again, none other than MLA Mr. Orrett Miller, and as you know, he represents the District of Northside in our Legislative Assembly. Mr. Miller, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to the listening Cayman, and it's good to be back here. And I would just like to support you that the only thing we have is shelter in place and social distance in terms of arresting the spread of this virus. And having said that, OC, I need to, what do young people talk about? Big up some people in my constituency and island-wide, in fact. One of my concerns when the government correctly announced the closing of the schools was to make sure that the children who, for socioeconomic reasons, were getting free lunches and free breakfasts at the schools. Mm-hmm. And I just want to thank a number of people who have really gone out of their way and done the extra mile to make this all possible. And we need to big a big shout out for the principal, Miss Danielle Duran from the school. Okay. Miss Dicely Partico, who is the cook and manages the canteen. Mr. David Hulse, who assists my PA, Miss Carol Sons, in doing the deliveries to we actually take the meals to the children's houses. The councillor Amy Hunt, and the SSIO Senior School Improvement Officer, Miss Gloria Bell. Of course, we also need to thank the sponsoring entities, NAU, NCVO, Feed Our Future, Frank Sound Church of God, Webster's, and Meals in Place in conjunction with Chisholm for providing and coordinating some frozen meals. Okay. And also to thank Ms. Lizette Yearwood and the Northside Clinic for providing the people with gloves and masks to go and distribute the food and stuff like that. It's been a very important component of success in allowing people to remain in place, shelter in place, and social distancing. I also want to add my congratulations to the Education Department, but particular in my case, the EMPS Ada Mile Primary School teacher staff, right? And they've done a great job for continued education for the kids in the school. I mean, my 5-year-old who's in year 1 of primary school, you want to see her on Zoom with her teacher every day, right? And the fun that her and the other members of her class are having while learning. And it's a great contribution, and it shows commitment by the staff. Also, I can report the same from Clifton Hunter High School, because I also have a daughter who is in year 7 at Clifton Hunter High School. And they've been communicating. They've been setting out work for the children to do. They've been communicating by on their computers. And what has impressed me was the way the teachers are monitoring the engagement of the students and the performance. I get calls regular to make sure that my daughter is doing her work, you know, and this is very important for the children.
It is.
As
it
being
is. Yes.
overlooked and somewhat unappreciated by the general public, because unless you have children going to the schools, and I suspect that the same is happening at all the primary schools, because I'm fairly certain, in fact I know as a fact, that this is a Ministry of Education driven initiative. So it's very important, because the way things are going, I would be pleasantly surprised and grateful, but I don't see these kids get back to school till September, you know.
Right.
So
yeah.
I just wanted to thank all of these people involved in that, and encourage them to continue, because it's a worthwhile activity.
Certainly. I believe we have a caller already, Ms. Susan. We have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Orrett Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay. Good morning to Mr. Ezra Miller.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Miller, Mr. Connor, right now, the government are allowing people our students who come from England to quarantine at the hotels. Do you know if it's possible for the government to work with the hotels in order to quarantine people who are already here on the island who test positive for the coronavirus, instead of being quarantined at home, where I feel that it's dangerous for anyone else living in that home, especially our elders and those with that may have other illnesses.
Mm-hmm. Have you been listening to the press briefings, caller?
Yes.
I think the chief medical officer feels quite confident that the self-quarantining or the home quarantining is working is extremely effective. Those persons are being monitored. They're being visited and being provided with whatever essentials that are necessary as well. I'll get Mr. Miller to add to that.
Right. I think the Public Health Department is doing a good job, and that it would not make a lot of sense to quarantine them in a hotel separate from the family, because those people would have already been exposed to them before they were identified as being positive. But the Public Health Department seems to be doing a fantastic job in trailing the contacts, finding out who their contacts were, having those contacts tested, because it is clear that the shelter in place and social distancing is working, because most of the people who have tested positive are people who are exposed to those people in that environment. And I don't know that separating them, because you want to make sure that you have opportunities to not only observe them and who they're getting in contact with, and not just relying on the who they tell you who they have got contact. But they seem to be doing a good job. Exactly. I think what's in place is working well.
Okay, caller.
Don't you all believe that it's safer quarantining them in a hotel room instead of putting them amongst their family members or whoever else may be staying in that home?
No, the experts say otherwise, and we have to follow what the advice of the experts. They're the lead in these particular situations. Now, we may have our own personal opinions in relation to it, but we need to listen to the experts.
Well, why are they then quarantining our students who are positive at the hotel rooms instead of sending them home?
Because it's a different situation. They were not allowed to have contact with family members or other people once they arrived on the island from overseas. They were confined and quarantined in a hotel, and they were tested there. So they have had no contact with people other than those there.
Well, I still think it's...
To release them now and send them home to their house, then you would be exposing the people there. That's the complete opposite for somebody who's diagnosed already in a household, living with people, you see?
But I still think it's more safer in allowing them to be quarantined at a hotel instead of continuing to let them recover at home. That's my personal opinion.
And you're entitled.
You're entitled to that.
Yeah.
But we're going to listen to.
I disagree with you.
We're going to listen to the experts.
Yeah.
Until that changes as well. Time for us to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
William Eden, 1800 through 1879. The grandson of William Eden Sr., the builder of Pedro St. James, William Eden was the proprietor of William Eden and Sons Ship Owners. He was a lieutenant and acting adjutant in the Georgetown Militia. He was among the first elected vestrymen in the Cayman Islands, representing the Prospect area. He served the island as custos from 1855 until his death in 1879.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Saturday, March 7, made a difference to 601 persons who benefited from a free mini-medical including diabetes, blood pressure checks, and other conditions. Through your generosity and participation, Rotary Central Health Check 2020 made the difference to 7 persons, directing them to immediate medical attention and treatment. 240 persons were referred to their physicians for care and guidance. 93 persons were screened as new blood donors, new lifesavers. With your kind assistance, March 4 and March 5, Rotary Central hosted 20 healthcare professionals, physicians, nurses, and pharmacists from 8 countries, including the Cayman Islands. They completed Part 1 training to qualify as Caribbean Certified Diabetes Educators. The Rotary Central Health Check 2020 and the Rotary Diabetes Educators Program, doing our part, helping our community to stay healthy. Remember, keep your distance, keep safe, keep faith, stay home. Rotary Club Central. Together we shall overcome.
Sending money to your family overseas shouldn't be a full-day process. Stop waiting in lines. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide, offering 3 convenient locations: Shedden Road, Baden Water Sports in West Bay, and at FIS Brack Agency in Cayman Brack. MoneyGram by Financial Integrated Services. Visit fiscayman.com for more information on MoneyGram services. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether you're celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
I remember playing at 7 Mile Beach as a boy, eating mango by the sea, learning how to snorkel. My mother, she worked so hard to provide for our family so that we could have those moments. Seeing her age has been tough. That strong, capable woman, now in need of daily support, it's my time to be strong for her.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of the careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA Mr. Ezard Miller. I just want to say to our listening and viewing audience as well, and in particular those persons who would wish to call in as well, what we want to encourage you during the course of the show today also is to call in and tell us about the Caymankind stories that you have experienced or that you have heard about and stuff like that. And want to hear about if you or someone has experienced someone doing something kind, whether big or small, during this period as well, or even to make suggestions in terms of what some people can do to make the lives of others much more comfortable, much better, much easier during these very challenging times as well, because there are some of us who are in better position than others, and we should and must be doing more to help those who are less fortunate as well. Mr. Miller.
One of the things, this is not positive, but it just to encourage people. People on the road need to drive more sensibly. Listen, this morning coming down, right, I had to swerve, right, and endanger myself because somebody driving a silver Skyline, right, decided to overtake me with oncoming traffic.
Wow.
And even though I could manage to realize what was happening, right, and swerved suddenly to the left, he only missed my front bumper by inches. You know? And this is totally unnecessary because where you going and with the traffic flowing the way it is, I mean, show respect for other people, man. You know?
Yep. When
and
I was coming down,
the speed limits, for God's sakes.
When we were coming down, same situation as well. And it seems as the same thing I see. It's reported in New York as well. Yeah. With less traffic on the roads, people are speeding more. And of course, the police, they're preoccupied with
other
things, and they can't be everywhere. But it was good to hear the Commissioner of Police encourage people, if you have dash cam video, if you're able to record the license plate number of the vehicle and get sufficient evidence for a prosecution, or even I would add to that, even if you don't have enough evidence to get a prosecution, if you record the license plate number, they can at least contact the owner of that vehicle, who we may correctly or incorrectly assume is the driver, but they're responsible, and to at least warn them, give them a warning.
In this case, this guy was going so fast that by the time I recorrected and adjusted my own vehicle on the road, right, he was too far ahead of me for read the license number.
Yep.
I mean, and this is just careless and stupidity, man. You know, and it leads to road rage, you know.
Yeah. Mr. Miller, I don't know if you have enough time to talk about the.
I just want to big up one other thing
Sure,
too.
go ahead.
Blood donations.
Yes.
I was really, really pleasantly surprised. I went one day last week to give blood. When I got there were actually 9 people in front of me waiting to give blood, and 4 more people showed up while I was there. Now, let me tell you something. That is mankind. And that is a sign that we still care about our fellow man and that we need to look after each other. Because, I've been donating blood from the time, I think I joined up in 1974 or something like that when I came back from college. But here is something that one of my senior citizens, we have this WhatsApp group with our older persons in our side, and this is the thing that she sent out today. Be the one who nurtures and builds. Be the one who has an understanding and a forgiving heart. One who looks for the best in people. Leave people better than you found them.
Yes.
Now, that's profound. Yep. And if we do that, we will survive the coronavirus.
Certainly will. We have 2 callers. I think we'll be able to accommodate one before we go to our 8 o'clock news. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
It's so good to hear both of you again on the radio. I just want to say a few words because I know 8 o'clock news is coming up. I have a mentally challenged cousin, and a few days ago, she more or less lives alone. That's the way she wants it. But she decides she wants to go to live with one of the cousins, and then found out she don't like it. Anyway, she walked away early in the morning before the other cousin was up. And the other cousin called me, and because I usually the one to run her up and down. In fact, this morning I got to take her to the hospital for an ultrasound. Anyway, we searched for her and couldn't find her. We went all to the usual places that she, that we know that she goes. She's not violent or anything. In fact, she's too quiet. You don't know what's really happening to her unless you question her. I know that the police was looking at me, running up and down, back and forth, so I decided I'll seek their help. I sought their help, and they said, don't worry. They came here to my house and took a description of her, which we didn't know what she was wearing or anything, but they were very, very helpful, and they said to me, the younger one out of the 2 said to me, don't worry, Mom, we'll find her. We will find her. In a half an hour, they drove up here with her in the car.
That's great.
Yes, and I thought I'll let the public know, because we still have, OC and Mr. Ezard, we still have people down here in West Bay, and I know it's all over the island as well, but down here in West Bay, we still have the mental people walking the streets. I wonder sometimes if they even get a meal now. And I know Dr. Lockhart is working as hard as he can. He's working too hard to try to get this place, this facility built. And I pray that they soon get it built, because we badly need this. Look at what's happening here now with us. Well, it's all over the world. But anyway, news coming up, so I thank you both, and I wish you both a blessed Easter, you and your families.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller, as well. Mr. Miller, just want to preview when we return from the 8 o'clock news. We want to talk about the meeting of the Legislative Assembly, because it seems as if there may be the possibility of that meeting taking place. And I did some research on it, looked at Erskine May, looked at what's what the UK is doing, as well. And while there are challenges on both sides, it seems as if there may be an relatively easy solution to it. I know the Premier yesterday said that the Attorney General was working on something, and we want to talk about that when we return from the 8 o'clock news as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Did you know that Value Med Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with Value Med. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. Value Med on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. The date originally chosen for how long Cayman's borders were to remain closed will soon expire. Premier the Honorable Alda McLaughlin says the date will be extended.
Cabinet hasn't yet made a decision, but I've had a discussion with the Deputy Premier, who's the Minister for Tourism and responsibility for the ports as well, and he is suggesting that we close it until the 30th of May.
Cabinet is scheduled to meet this week for further discussions. The Minister for Health has a message for landlords at Tuesday's COVID-19 press briefing.
This is stressful as the pandemic rapidly sweeps across the world, is inducing a considerable degree of fear, worry, and impact of stress and anxiety in the population. In Italy, mental health from stress is now a major concern. Now tell me, who are you going to rent to when you kick out the tenant? What are you going to do with your money if you get it? We can't even go to the bank at times. This is a time when we have money in our pocket and can't even get no love, as Dennis Brown said in 1972. Ain't that a shame? Let's be patient and kind at this time, and God will flourish us when we least expect it.
The message comes as government has asked landlords of tenants to show allegiance, not evict them. The Honorable Dwayne Seymour ended with a scripture from the Bible for landlords, quoting Proverbs 22:8 and 9. His Excellency the Governor takes time to thank Cayman's educators for their hard work and dedication as they navigate the changes required by the country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Prior to the close of schools, teachers prepared paper-based and online teaching resources for students. They continued to provide online resources and support through a range of mediums. Government schools and charities have been providing daily meals to students in need, and ongoing engagement with students has been a critical focus. So we're very proud of the response of the Ministry of Education, the Department of Education and our schools as they continue to look after our students, going well beyond their education.
Governor Martin Roper also gave a big shout out to the University College of the Cayman Islands, saying that despite closing their campuses, faculty and staff have supported and allowed more than 1,200 students the ability to complete the semester without interruption and reduce the risk of the spread of COVID-19. Built around their core philosophy, members helping members, the Credit Union Board of Directors has announced a COVID-19 member relief fund to help members of the Civil Service Association Cooperative Credit Union who are finding themselves in great need amid the current coronavirus crisis. The board says the fund will be managed as a grant system by an internal team set up for this purpose. Members will be able to apply to receive funding to support basic needs they're no longer able to afford. The board is appealing to its members that are financially able to contribute to this fund on with whatever amount possible. The credit union will then match all donations to the fund. While it will provide for basic relief, officials say they will continue to look at other ways that can directly help members. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. The World Health Organization's Regional Director for Europe says now is not the time to relax measures designed to restrict the spread of coronavirus. Hans Kluge said that although there were indications that the pandemic was slowing in Italy and Spain, the progress made in Europe was, as he put it, extremely fragile. His remarks come as the daily number of people with coronavirus dying in Spain rose for the second day in a row to 757. It follows falls in the number of dead over the previous 4 days. The French economy is in recession following its biggest quarterly contraction since the Second World War. It shrank around 6% in the first 3 months of the year because of the coronavirus outbreak. The European Research Council has spoken out strongly against the reasons given by its former head for resigning. Mauro Ferrari had blamed differences with the EU about its response to the coronavirus pandemic. But council members said Mr. Ferrari had in fact resigned after a unanimous vote of no confidence in his leadership. Government officials say the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson remains in good spirits, having spent a second night in intensive care where he's being treated for COVID-19. They say his condition remains stable. And those are the latest stories from BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Need to make an essential outing for personal care items or prescription refill? Make Value Med Pharmacy your stop for essential products. Open daily under new curfew-restricted hours. Visit Value Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or in Boddentown. Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Boddentown location opens at 8:30 a.m. and on Sundays and holidays 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. A maximum of 3 customers allowed in store, and customers are encouraged to maintain social distancing while shopping. For faster prescription service, order online through value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
A public service announcement from Radio Cayman. Coronavirus prevention tips. Advice for vulnerable people. Extra steps you can take to avoid COVID-19. If you have a chronic illness, such as respiratory disease, diabetes, heart disease, COPD, hypertension, or cancer, or are elderly, over 60, or have a compromised immune system, you can further protect yourself with extra precautionary steps in addition to prevention tips. Remember, you are supported. Call the HSA helpline on 1-800-534-8600 or 947-3077 if you have any questions. For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/public-health/coronavirus or gov.ky/coronavirus.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by On Course Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking. Change your life.
Emotions are an ever-present, pressing, and sometimes painful force in our lives. However, when we react to emotional triggers immediately, it can have unexpected and unwanted consequences. When you notice yourself becoming emotional, take a deep breath and bring yourself back to the moment. Continue to breathe deeply as you feel your muscles untense and your heart rate return to normal. As you become calmer, affirm to yourself that this is only temporary. You are safe.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. On Course Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman. Health, wellness, and happiness.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong series was brought to you by On Course Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman. Health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Subway is helping to keep Cayman safe by limiting store openings and hours, offering curbside pickup and delivery right to your door. With 3 locations currently open to serve you: Anderson Square in Georgetown, Centennial Towers in West Bay, and Countryside Shopping Village in Savannah. Subway is open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on soft curfew days. Free delivery for orders with a minimum $20 purchase. Delivery times only from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Subway, helping you to enjoy your favorite foods in the safest way possible.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Saturday, March 7, made a difference to 601 persons who benefited from a free mini medical, including diabetes, blood pressure checks, and other conditions. Through your generosity and participation, Rotary Central Health Check 2020 made the difference to 7 persons, directing them to immediate medical attention and treatment. 240 persons were referred to their physicians for care and guidance. 93 persons were screened as new blood donors, new lifesavers. With your kind assistance, March 4 and March 5, Rotary Central hosted 20 healthcare professionals, physicians, nurses, and pharmacists from 8 countries, including the Cayman Islands. They completed Part 1 training to qualify as Caribbean Certified Diabetes Educators. The Rotary Central Health Check 2020 and the Rotary Diabetes Educators Program, doing our part, helping our community to stay healthy. Remember, keep your distance, keep safe, keep faith, stay home. Rotary Club Central. Together we shall overcome.
Wow, looks good. What is that?
Chicken chair.
What did you just say to me?
Chicken chair.
I am not a chicken.
Whoa! I said chicken share. It's from KFC. Bucket of 12 hot wings, 6 pieces of chicken, or 8 tenders. KFC chicken share. Just $12 each.
Oh.
Want some chicken, tenders, or hot wings?
You're sharing your chicken share with me?
The new chicken share from KFC, just $12 each, and it's finger-licking good. Dine at KFC Baytown Plaza, KFC Shedden Road, or KFC at the Strand.
A public service announcement from Radio Cayman.
Rumors and misinformation will not help us tackle the coronavirus. Remember, you can check on www.gov.ky/coronavirus to see trusted and up-to-date guidance from the experts. This page is being continually updated and should become your first port of call for the facts. Please do your part to avoid scare tactics and fake news. This government is not complacent. We will continue to prepare tirelessly, make the necessary decisions required in the best interests of the health and safety of our people. You may feel worried, scared, or stressed about the serious nature of COVID-19, but we can and will overcome this public threat. Again, remember to cover your cough and sneezes, wash your hands often, and avoid close contact with persons, especially if they're showing signs of respiratory illness. Please stay safe, and may God continue to bless the Cayman Islands.
For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/public-health/coronavirus or gov.ky/coronavirus.
The Mental Health Helpline is here for you. Are you having trouble coping emotionally? During times of crisis, you may find that your mood and feelings are affected. You may feel low, worried, or have problems sleeping. Do you know that it is okay not to be okay? And that caring professionals are here to help you. You can call 1-800-534-6463. Mind, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. No credit? No problem. Stay on the line and your call will be transferred.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLA Mr. Ezard Miller. Before we talk about the meeting of our Legislative Assembly, soon to be called Parliament, we have a caller on hold, so we're going to take that caller now. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Miller, good
morning. Yes, sir.
I have almost, and not really complain away, but let me tell you, I have found, where I can freely say who I am. Many people know my voice is Clyde Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no fear about anything I say. I am not calling names, which I could in many cases, right? But there seem to be some topics that they do not want me to say anything about.
Like
anything bad about America, anything good about Cuba, and a lot of things that I said about cures and different things. A lot of times this or other one has been cut off because I mentioned some of these things, right?
Okay. Well, Can I set the ground rules for you so that we don't have any misunderstanding in terms of what I'm prepared to accept here, which is that any promotion of any cures that are not officially sanctioned and haven't been proven, unless you want to speak about your personal experiences without making any recommendations to others, because we do not want to mislead people. We don't want to promote any type of cure or any type of medicine that is not does not have official sanction approval, for it. So that would be my ground rules in terms of it. You can speak of your experience, but I won't allow you to promote any product that is not approved.
Can I say anything that God has done?
Yeah.
Well, what I was trying to of yesterday is, I said one cure, but he said, oh, no, that's foolishness. I just want to say where this information came from. Now, this is something that any you can look up on the internet and YouTube. That's all I'm saying, right? Years ago, there was a man called Edgar Cayce who could go to sleep and get cured. He cured thousands of people. That's some of the best doctors.
What was that person's name you said?
Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. He did not know what he's saying. It wasn't him. It was God speaking through him, and that was inviting anyone to go on the internet and read his life story. How he was able to heal so many people that the doctors could not cure, people that he did not even see. And this was quite recently. He died in 45. Now, to me, things that God spoke through him.
He claimed that he was a psychic.
Prophet or something.
Psychic, not a prophet. Psychic. There's a difference. The prophets are in the Bible.
Yeah, if he's not in the Bible, he's not a prophet.
No, he's not. There's a psychic.
Hardly. They keep changing up these words because when I was young, the word gay means something else.
Yeah, he maintained that his subconscious mind would leave his body and retrieve knowledge from the spiritual realm, where all subconscious minds are connected. He sounds like similar to a Jim Jones.
No, Mr. You just read how he did that. Any man can just lie down, go to sleep, and diagnose a problem somebody has 1,000 miles away who never even met. And that person has been to so many.
But is there any scientific evidence that occurred, or this is just claims that he has made based on somebody saying they have an ailment? Because remember, we have all these faith healers running all over the world, and when you really check them out, there's always some trickery to it, some magic.
Life story. That's all I ask him.
I don't know. No. I don't. I really don't have any interest in that right now. I'm more concerned about the scientific aspect, and in relation to it is the good Lord that gives us these scientists among us to help us find these cures.
Exactly.
Okay.
So caller, in 15 words, tell us what your position is on this. 15 words.
I'm less than that.
Okay.
He wanted a cure for this coronavirus and many other things in their life. They need to read the Bible and trust in God and do what it says.
Okay.
People saying but they don't follow the Bible.
Right.
They don't want to trust in God. Oh, Lord, scientists can soon come up with a cure. Huh? Oh, God doesn't. God is a powerful God, but He does not know how to cure coronavirus.
Well, there are many people who believe,
I believe
what you're saying and believe in God and stuff
he's
like
the
that.
one that will guide our scientists to do so.
Yeah, because I also subscribe to that part of the Bible that says that the Lord will help those who help themselves.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay, thanks for
Okay,
calling.
thank you very much, Scholar. Thank you very much for that. But look up Edward Casey. I think it's spelled C-A-Y. I had it just now. Anyway, we'll find it. So, Mr. Miller,
right?
We heard the Premier in the press briefing talk about the meeting of the Legislative Assembly, and it would appear as if at some point in time before we get through this crisis that the Legislative Assembly will have to meet. And he said that the Attorney General was basically looking into ways in which from a legal standpoint, the Legislative Assembly will be able to meet. I noticed in Bermuda, they have 36 seats in the Bermuda House of Assembly. I've been there.
Their quorum is, but then be what, 17?
Something
19.
like that, yeah. I've been to their House of Assembly, much smaller than what we have here in Cayman, and the Speaker pointed out that they didn't all need to go there, but all 36 of them still showed up and they met. I know that maybe one of the things that we're mindful here is that we have a stay-in-place order.
But
and whether or not
I think it's a simple solution to this.
And the number of people who are allowed to meet, and whether or not they would be in violation of that. So shouldn't we just go ahead and amend the regulations to allow for sittings of the Legislative Assembly to be exempt from that?
I think that's a simple solution to it. I'm not even sure that it would need to be exempted, because I think their regulation is mostly to do with social connotation. This is something that we are all certified by government already as being essential people. So we can congregate and we can go there, right? But I think there's a simple solution to it. The quorum for anything that the Legislative Assembly in the Cayman Islands to be legal in a law accepted that we pass, we need a quorum. Quorum is 10 people, right? So my recommendation to the Premier is that he send out all the information to us. Let us discuss it, send it back. Many ways to call the meeting of the Legislative Assembly. If he wants to have the security that he can control the votes, he sends 6 of his government bench and 4 from the opposition. The rest of us could put our input in through email and reviewing the stuff and so that we know what they're going down there to do, and we know what's going to be done. And it's a half hour to 45 minutes meeting, right? And the 10 people can pass the legislation that is necessary to make the necessary adjustments to the economy, etc., that we need to do. I don't think we need to try to find a way. And I think with 10 people in the room, I am certain that they can have enough space with 6 on the other side and 4 on the opposition side to have the 6-foot distance that we require. The Speaker and the clerk are probably close to 6 feet right now. If necessary, they can reposition the clerk to make her a little farther away. But I don't think that it is. We need to have everybody there once we can agree that the people what we're going to do, and just go down there, and we don't need to have lunch and all that kind of stuff to ask people to congregate in the dining room. We go there. We're on a mission. It's about doing the government's business. You go there and you take your seats. You go into the door. You go and take your seat. The Speaker comes in, the Parliament is called to order, the government proposes what it needs to do, and the opposition agrees to it because we would have agreed to it beforehand. And it's done in 45 minutes to an hour, and we've done what's best for our people. This is not about one-upmanships and political gains. This should be about doing what's right for the people of the country.
And each member of the Legislative Assembly who is not present at that meeting can easily explain to their constituents why the approach that they took, with this, and why it wasn't necessary for them to be there. I think also that the people of the Cayman Islands would understand that you're going down there to do the business for the benefit of the people of the Cayman Islands, and shouldn't really criticize you for any minor breaches of social distancing, and like you pointed out, that the personal distancing, you may be able to still adhere to that
Yeah, I think
by
you can.
reducing the numbers.
Yeah, I think if you send 10 people down, there's 6 from the government, 4 from the opposition bench, we can arrange that everybody can maintain their social distance. We don't all have to go into the same door at the same time, right? We have the sergeant at arms there who can regulate the and it can be done. We just need to have a discussion about it on by WhatsApp, by email, whatever. We're all in contact with each other, and we can have our input into it and say this is what I believe should be done in this particular case, and we come to an agreement, and the government goes down there and gets it done.
Okay, time for us to take a commercial break, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a WhatsApp message that I received, give us time to think about it, and when we return, we can discuss it. It says, "Good morning, I have a concern. I am a nanny, not working, however, still getting pay. I have my child back home in Jamaica, and it is worrying for me not getting money to him to buy food and pay bills. I think the government should have the remittance agency open just like the banks and use the last name to keep these agencies open. The banks are charging $50 to wire $100. This is crazy." We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to discuss this person's issue. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Vamped Motors encourages everyone to stay home in compliance with our government's directives, which are absolutely critical to protect our islands from the coronavirus. In light of this, Vamped Motors will be closed from Wednesday the 25th of March for 10 days, or until our Cayman Islands government gives us the all-clear to return to work. Please, everyone, be safe and let's get through this together by staying apart.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Insurance is complicated. Make your life easier and better protected with comprehensive financial solutions from FIS Insurance Brokers with plans from life, health, property insurance, motor, public liability, and professional liability insurance. Whether you're protecting your family or your business, leave nothing to chance. Understand your options and protect yourself for the future. Speak to your FIS Insurance Broker agent today, located on Shedden Road by MoneyGram, or call 623-5616.
A public service announcement from Radio Cayman. Coronavirus prevention tip. If persons have policy questions, you can go to gov.ky and click on coronavirus. Be in the know. You can find the latest advice and guidance for households, businesses, and schools, as well as advice pertaining to older persons or persons with chronic diseases. You can also email questions to flu@hsa.ky or the hotline numbers of 1-800-534-8600 or 947-3077. For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/coronavirus.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. And my pleasure to have in the studio with me, MLA Mr. Ezra Miller. So, Mr. Miller, this person says they're a domestic and they're a nanny, and they're still getting paid while the stay-at-home order is in place. So they have the financial wherewithal to send financial support, to provide financial support to their son in Jamaica. Now, I don't believe that the remittance services like what did we have, Western Union, right, that they have any type of association similar to the Bankers Association here in the Cayman Islands. I do know that some if not all of the remittance services have made a request through the proper channels to be able to operate during the periods and to operate similar to the way that supermarkets and banks are able to operate using the surname. As a matter of fact, I believe one, if not more than one, are located in
at least one
supermarkets already, where people are already required to observe the personal distancing and everything else.
They were admitted by their surname.
Yes.
On certain days. So I would think that it should be possible to allow those, because I'm sure there are many legitimate reasons why people need to send money out other than just the, and also some of them might need to get some money in to help them survive here from family members elsewhere. So I would encourage the government to try to find a way to get them over, even if they limit them to certain hours per day. But the problem with controlling the hours that you open, then you run the risk of congregating people. So I would think that it should be the normal hours, and they have to maintain the social distances, and they have to, whether that's putting tape down outside to people or inside, etc. But I think they should be able to submit something to what is called a competent authority.
Yes.
But one of the things that I think and I didn't hear it in a regulation, I think there should be an appeal process from the competent authority to Cabinet.
Yes.
I'm not aware that there is, and I think that needs to be looked into, so that people who are, and I don't want to overburden Cabinet, don't misunderstand, because I feel that at least some of the ministers have their hands full, to put it mildly. But I think that in cases like this, which you have indications that people have made the proper applications, they have tried to make suggestions to the competent authority and they've been unsuccessful. I think in those cases there should be some process of appealing to Cabinet.
Yeah, I mean, years ago that was established. You remember now in the 80s, the old Caymanian Protection Board would send these letters out, your work permit application has been refused, and said no more. And then when challenged on grounds of natural justice that the applicant should be given a reason as to why their application was rejected, then they moved on to the process to give even reasons, even though they may have been brief, give reasons as to why the request was not granted.
And then you're also notified of your appeal.
Of your right of appeal. Now, whether or not these regulations with the emergency powers and everything dispenses of that the right for natural justice to be applied is another thing, and I would have to look at the regulations and the emergency powers law and everything else to see whether or not that goes out of the window, the right of appeal. But if we're operating in a country with a democracy with a big large D, with a big D, capital D, then that right of appeal should be there. Now, it may be cumbersome because of the number of applications that are being received, but at the same time, when you're curtailing certain rights for individuals, then that, unless you're under martial law, that right needs to be there.
And we don't want to get down to the end of the process and there's these whole piles of disgruntled people who didn't wish to appeal or take legal action or asking for judicial reviews of decisions after the fact. I will say that I think that the Premier and his government have indicated almost on every press conference that if you're having a difficulty, try and let them know and they'll try to make adjustments. We don't know whether this went up to that level or not. But I'm suggesting that either the agencies make direct contact with the Premier's office or the Attorney General's office, and somehow, although there may not be no formal process of appeal, the indication from the government has always been that we're willing to listen to anybody who can make a reasonable case as to why they should be able to offer their services.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. This one says, good morning, Mr. Connor. I want to give a big shout out to the entire police team working throughout this pandemic crisis. Kudos to Officer Hemmings and his 2 fellow officers for showing empathy, care, and kindness in rendering assistance in time of need. Also to Officer Gale and his patrol partner for their kind understanding. Those officers went above and beyond this call of duty, which was very humane of them. God bless, protect, and keep you all up, and keep up this stalwart performance. So that's a big shout out there.
Yeah, the information I have is it does appear that the police are making a special effort to handle this thing properly, and seem to be doing a good job.
Okay. Yep. Trying to find the other ones. This one says, good morning. Person says, I went up there yesterday and it was closed. The one in the fastest grocery store was closed. Yeah, they're talking about the remittance. Yes, they're all closed because they haven't been given permission by the competent authority to open. They have all made requests, for that, as well. But they have been relatively quiet in terms of their position on it. They don't want to openly challenge the government in relation to the decision, while bearing in mind the plight of their customers in their inability to remit money or to receive money, and when they do, having to pay these excessive fees.
Yeah, the one that troubles me is that $50 by a bank to send $100. I'm not one who's involved in a lot of money transfers, but I thought it used to be based on a percentage basis, but that seems like a lot. And if that is a new fee that the banks have put in now, I think that SEMA needs to put their foot down.
Okay, and this person says, thank you, Mr. Miller, because precious children are so worried both in Jamaica and the U.S. that they can't send me money. So there's one person. I
think it works both ways.
Yes.
And the whole idea here is to encourage people to shelter in place, maintain the social distance until we get this virus under control. But in the meantime, I think we need to we have to make sure that our decisions, though seeming logical and factual, are not in some way collateral damage that is really hurting a few people in our society.
Yes.
Because we should try to avoid that if at all possible.
Exactly. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. I just heard the conversation in regards to the meeting of the Legislative Assembly. Right? And I had a question in regards to how would this speaker position work now, knowing that we don't have a speaker in place? How would that work?
Okay, Mr. Miller?
Well, they would have to elect somebody from the floor of the Assembly to be the Deputy Speaker. But again, we should be able to agree on that before we go there and get it done. And my understanding is that the Speaker has not vacated the position. The Speaker has granted himself some leave. So I would hope that in a case like this, the Speaker would come back from his self-granted leave and sit in the chair for the meeting.
Okay.
I don't think there's nothing that I'm aware of that prohibits him from coming and sitting at that meeting because he's still a speaker.
Mm-hmm. So, caller, before you go, do you have a position in terms of the Legislative Assembly meeting, despite the fact that we have the stay-at-home policy in place?
Well, I think it's necessary, and we need it, and we need it done ASAP. So I think it's necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that opinion, caller. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with MLA Mr. Ezard Miller will continue, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, formerly known as Professional Pharmacy, would like to thank the Cayman communities for their loyal support these past 18 years. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care. Thorough background checks and follow-up consultations is only the beginning. Your safety is our concern. Our staff are respected healthcare professionals whose job requires careful and precise calculations. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, where we prepare to provide exceptional care. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we care about your health.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Vamped Motors encourages everyone to stay home in compliance with our government's directives, which are absolutely critical to protect our islands from the coronavirus. In light of this, Vamped Motors will be closed from Wednesday the 25th of March for 10 days, or until our Cayman Islands government gives us the all-clear to return to work. Please, everyone, be safe and let's get through this together by staying apart.
Are you a landlord? Add your tenant to your Water Authority account now. Adding your tenant allows them to have access to account information via telephone or email from the Water Authority customer service team while the country continues to shelter in place to stop the spread of the coronavirus. Email your customer service team at info@waterauthority.ky for guidance through this process.
A public service announcement from Radio Cayman. Coronavirus prevention tip. What is coronavirus? The novel coronavirus, COVID-19, is a new strain of coronavirus that has not been previously identified in humans. What are the symptoms? Common symptoms include respiratory symptoms of fever, cough, shortness of breath, breathing difficulties. In severe cases, coronavirus can cause pneumonia, severe acute respiratory syndrome, and kidney failure. How soon do symptoms occur? Symptoms occur 2 to 10 days after a person has been exposed. Is there a vaccine against coronavirus? Currently, there is no vaccine to protect against COVID-19. When a disease is new, it takes up to a few years for a new vaccine to be developed. For information, you can email questions to flu@hsa.ky or call one of the hotline numbers of 1-800-534-8600 or 947-3077. For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/coronavirus.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLA Mr. Ezard Miller. A person that sent me this and said, look at this OC. Could not have been a better timing. Wow. And what it is it's they forward me something from one of the children saying, good morning, Mommy. Do you have a checking account with a bank card? So again, what this person is demonstrating to us is that not everyone who wants to use the remittance services are looking is looking to send money out of the Cayman Islands. They may have family members with the financial wherewithal elsewhere to send money to them to help to assist them, as well in this particular situation. I want to shift gears now, and this one says, "Good morning. Quick thought. In speaking of the need of maintaining good reserves and not being able to respond to every need, our government also has to bear in mind any potential hurricane disasters. Therefore, we cannot run our reserves down to zero."
No, and I would never advocate that either, but I don't think that that's what the government is contemplating. But I believe that the government is going to have some kind of economic stimulus package here, and I would favor some kind of deal with business owners to maintain their staff on some kind of salary level, a portion of which the government would contribute. But there has to be a ceiling to it. It can't be, But in the meantime, if you're going to do it one way or the other, they either got to assist the employer to do it so they keep their business alive and the person gets his little salary with some dignity, or you can pay it through NAU. And the first thing we got to do then is increase the staff over there so they can deal with all these applications because, and again, we can't have a situation where NAU is and remember now we've had all this controversy over the last year and a half, 2 years of whether they're actually staffed up fully or not to deal with the ordinary stuff, much less what this is going to bring down. So it's a lot of it is going to come with the treasury one way or the other. So I think it's better to and again, maybe the government will have maybe they're looking at some pension relief and stuff like that, and maybe part of it is, I believe pensions are for your retirement and it shouldn't be tampered with. But if some of the private sectors would look to invest, because they're not getting any money now in U.S. investments, so maybe invest it in some of the money locally and offer it for at low interest rates, below what the bank is, what, 4 or 5% now. Maybe they could do some pension money locally at 2% or 1.5%, because they ain't getting that
exactly. This is bad timing to go to withdraw from pensions, because the returns that pensions are making on the stock market and stuff like that are nil now. All of their gains have been basically wiped out.
Yeah. But there should be a certain amount of cash locally.
This person was basically responding to the fact that after the government, Minister Hugh, announced the measures that they were putting in place, then you were getting more and more people inquiring. They were inquiring, well, if you're not 100% owned Caymanian company, are you able to apply for this? And they saw a stream of people then simply trying to get money from the government.
There has to be strict criteria to it, and the criteria have to be adhered to.
Yep.
But the criteria should be published.
Yes.
It shouldn't be political decisions. Yep. And I'm not talking about the politicians making the political decisions. There are other people in this country who make political decisions based on who you are and what you know.
Yep.
Right? So it should be a clear-cut criteria. It should be published. You either meet the criteria or you don't meet the criteria.
Yep. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
All right. How are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
All right, Mr. Miller. Just going to the grocery stores yesterday, something came to my mind. Instead of having the thing in alphabetical order, chopped in half, shall I say, yesterday I really felt sorry for a lot of people that I see queue up, trying to get into supermarkets out in the sun, and then to go inside to find out, well, you only allowed like 2 gallons of water. Listen carefully, I'm not complaining. I am saying this. Is it not better, instead of having the alphabetical thing in 2, if we share it in 3, 1/3? meaning that you probably, in my opinion, you will have less people going to the supermarkets because you got 3 different groups. And if I have 2 days to go, Tom has 2 days to go, and Jean has 2 days to go, I think that's sufficient instead of having it halfway in the alphabet and so many people go into the supermarkets, got to stand up into the sun. I think that something could be done instead of having 2, they have a 3 alphabet shared in 3/3. I think it would be better for the general public, and, you know, people might want to consider it. It's only an idea, not that it's perfect, but I think you got too much people now going 3 days a week instead of having 2 days a week insured in 3. I think that might make sense. What do you think about that?
Caller, are we still seeing long lines despite the assurances that the grocery stores that there are enough supplies on island and supplies continue to come in?
Here's the contradiction that what he just said. The government keep insisting that there's no supply line problem. The supermarkets are. Why are they limiting people to 2? Now I can see that you can't buy 20. But if you're telling me that I can, and you don't want me to come to the supermarket once a week, right? But I can only buy 2 cans of milk. I might have a family that need 5 cans of milk for the week. So why the artificial limitation?
But there are people who would go there and simply clear the shelves.
No, I don't think they should be allowed to do that. But but I think that 2 is too little.
Okay.
If you want people to shop for a week, which is what you would be encouraging people to do,
rather than having to rather
than having to go every day that you go to get 2.
Yes.
Right. Because I mean, if you're a family that of 3 or 4 people, and you use condensed milk in your coffee and your cereal, right? For instance, 2 cans of condensed milk can't last you 5 days. You know, so you got to go. You have to go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to get 2 each time. You know.
Got you.
So I think that if there's no problem with the supply line, then why are we not allowing people to buy what they would normally buy?
Okay.
You know.
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, like I said yesterday. Well, I'm a senior citizen, so I was able to walk up front and go right in.
Yeah.
But what really got my attention down to Cooks, these people was way out in the sun waiting to get in. And I don't think that is so right at all. I think if they cut it in 3, you know, people could get into the supermarkets faster. You'd have a better atmosphere into the whole situation instead of sharing it in 2. People are all queuing up to get in, and I don't think that is fine. And like you said a while ago, and like I'm not complaining, I'm just trying to be helpful. You know, 2 gallons of water or 2 of this, something could be rectified into this thing and try to get it sorted a little better. So that's what my little piece is for today, and I hope it would be taken the context that it was meant to be.
It certainly is, at least on this end.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
But you see, if you're a family that normally most families before this event shop once a week, right?
Or some once a month.
Well, you know, but you bought a reasonable quantity, right? And if you're going now on a Monday, and your normal consumption for the week is let's use the Premier's corned beef and rice, right? Is 5 cans of corned beef. But when you go Monday, they tell you can only get 2, right? Then you go back Wednesday to get 2 more, and you go back Friday. So the people are having to duplicate the effort. Now, I agree with you. Nobody should be able to go and take everything that's on the shelf. But most people can't afford to do that anyway, right? But, you know, they want 3 or 4 cans of something. It should be, I mean, like the example he gave, you stand up in line for an hour, and when you get there, they tell you that you can only get 2 gallons of water, so you got to come back then the following day that you're allowed again to stand up in line for another hour. That don't make no sense.
Okay, Ms. Susan, ready for us for 9 o'clock news net, or want to continue on? Okay, folks, we're going to take a break for the top of the hour news at 9 o'clock. When we return, I have some more WhatsApp messages to share with you. And don't forget now, we want to hear about that Cayman Kind and some of the good things that are happening during this challenging period. And call us, on the numbers. I will provide you with them later on when we return. Call us and share the good news and the good stories with us as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
For today's biggest news.
Access. Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
More test results are expected today after the latest press briefing Tuesday afternoon announced 6 new cases of COVID-19. 4 returned students who have been in government isolation for weeks tested positive, while 2 other cases got the virus through contact with other positives. The chief medical officer also reports that so far 4,214 people have accessed the flu hotline. With a quick summary of COVID-19 across the globe, deaths in Spain rise for a second consecutive day to 14,555. There have been more than 1.4 million confirmed cases worldwide. In Germany, infections have passed the 100,000 mark. United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson is, quote, comfortable as he spends a 3rd day in the hospital. London's mayor says, quote, we are nowhere near lifting the lockdown. Talks on how to help Eurozone countries badly affected by the coronavirus epidemic have been suspended, and people are leaving Wuhan for the first time after the lockdown was partially lifted. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Remember our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord. One word, for the record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. We have 2 callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Osby. This is Roger. You remember last week or week before last, I was telling you and Arden that I think I had the COVID-19 virus in February. Well, since I talked to you about that, I talked to 2 more Caymanians, one my age yesterday, and another guy about in his late 40s, and they were telling me the same thing, and they were telling me their symptoms, and we had the same thing: fever, shivering, cold sweat, and it lasted. They all said how long it was for? It lasted like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you because I remember I was doing a tour one day in the middle part of February in my cab from the ship, and I had a full load of people, and this woman started sneezing and coughing really bad in the back of my car. And it was an Asian woman, and she looked really sick in her eyes. And the people on the back, one woman was covering her face with her hands. And it wasn't too long after that I started getting really sick. But I didn't tell anybody I was sick. But I was really sick, to the point where I would get up and go to work and go back home by 2 o'clock. Some days I'd only work 4 hours because I couldn't manage any longer, because I had no energy. But I think between the things I was using and prayers to the Almighty, that's what saved me. Because one night I was so bad, I asked God to take me. I don't want to live this any longer, or heal me. And by the next morning, I started to feel a little bit of relief. But these 2 other people told me that in the last couple of days, same symptoms. And I know other people that mentioned that other people told them to. I know a couple that went to the States and came back in February. They were home almost 2 weeks, very sick with the virus too, but wouldn't go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of us, all the Caymanians, it's something with us that I guess when we grow up, it was many doctors around and all this kind of stuff. So when something happened, they took the punishment and they dealt with it. And I took moringa seed a couple of times and aloe, and I was going in the sea with it in the day and taking deep dives and exhaling, coming up, deep breath and going down like 10 feet of water, and I would clear my lungs. And after this, they started talking about this virus going around, I said, that's not what I had. But I think what we need to do, everybody's sitting on the talk show all day long talking about pensions and funds and what can happen with money in the economy. We're in for a long run. I think what we need to work towards is to get healed.
Mm-hmm.
we better ask God to forgive us for our sins. The Cayman Islands government need to have a meeting in Parliament and have a prayer to God, like what the congressman did sometimes, what is it, and ask God to give Cayman Islands for their sins. Because every one of us have sinned, including me.
And fallen short of the glory of God, yes.
That's right, Jose. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that because this thing has not only been here now, this has been here from February. People have been having these symptoms, but nobody went and got tested.
Okay. Mr. Miller, is it possible? Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. Is it possible, do they have tests also that will be able to tell if you have actually suffered from it? Because they say in some cases there may be scarring of the lungs and various things.
Once you've had it, you will have antibodies in your system.
Yes.
And there are several companies now who are, I believe, and I say this subject to correction, but I believe there's at least one in the U.S. that has been approved by the FDA on their short order to test for antibodies, which will determine whether you had it or not, right?
And then there are other tests that they're using the plasma from persons who have had it and recovered.
They're using that to treat people, to transfer take the antibodies from those who they know have had it and recovered, and giving it to other patients in the hope that it will help them, and apparently it has helped one or two people. But there are a number of tests around that will deal with the antibodies afterwards. So, but I don't believe, again, I speak subject to correction, but I don't believe that the tests that we have bought from South Korea are of that type. I think they are more to identify that you have the virus in your body.
Got you. Okay, we have two callers, but before we go to those callers, I want to read this, and this is coming from a pretty reliable source, so I can share this. And it reads that Foster's, from tomorrow, Wednesday the 8th of April, product limits will be lifted across our stores. Product limits will remain on high-demand products, including hand sanitizer, alcohol and peroxide, bleach, vinegar, paper products. I think the numbers that they're allowed in those instances would be 1 alcohol and peroxide, 1 bleach, 1 paper products, 2 pasta, 2 flour. It says, as a reminder, these items are per person per product. For more information on the new product limits, please see there's a link below, http://bit.ly product limit, and you can also go on the Foster's Facebook page as well to get that information. Let's grab some of the callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Morning, Mr. Miller. I'm fine.
Morning.
How you guys doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm not gonna be long with what I have to say. I think it was Mr. Orman calling the one before the last. So he did his suggestion. I don't think he was pretty well out of line by saying that, to split it up into 3, because you got to realize that Bush, Biden, and Ebanks is pretty well half of the Caymanian population. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we're going to have a lot more people out there shopping on those days because of the alphabet on the last name of those people. That's all I wanted to say, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Caller, good morning. They're not paying attention. Do we have another caller? Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, Mr. O.C. and Mr. Miller.
Good morning.
And Cayman, I just started to listen to the program, so I'm not sure what went on ahead before. But I wanted to commend our governor, premier, health minister, and all our leaders for a good job they are doing, extraordinary job. I want to say that I am giving them permission to take 2 years vacation to an exotic place, wherever they choose. I also want to say, in terms of Caymankind, that our forefathers, our parents taught us that you save for the hard days. And so I want to encourage, especially our younger Caymanians, whatever they're making, if it's no more than 5% of their salary, they need to save. So that as a people, we have not been ones to really depend on government or anyone else in hard times. I know that things have changed, and so many people do have to do that. But in terms of Caymankind, I am just shouting out to everyone, remember, we don't know what to expect. So when we are working, let's try to save for the hard times that can come unexpectedly. And so we need to do that. I just want to wish all the best and God blessings.
Thank you very much, and the same to you and your family, ma'am. Thank you very much, for that. And it seems as if what the save for a rainy day, that concept is lost more amongst our younger generation than anyone else.
But
unfortunately,
you and I brought up in those days when we had the government savings bank. The very name encouraged you to saving, right? And now it's all about taking what you have and making you spend it before you get it.
Yep. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Morning again, sir.
Yeah, good morning again, Mr. Miller.
Morning.
Yeah, I have a question, Mr. Miller, Mr. O'Connor. Concerning renting apartments or homes, whatever. Is it anything in the law that states that it's being that comes on a discrimination when landlords only allow certain nationalities or only people on work permits to rent their places instead of a Caymanian?
I don't think there's anything in the law that other than what Mr. Ossie talked about earlier, natural justice. But I don't think one of the things that we need bad in this country is a proper tenements and landlord's law. But if you feel that you're being discriminated against, that's covered under the Constitution. You can take up your case.
Well, if it does occur, if someone does experience this, and they go to the law, then they're not going to feel comfortable at all, even getting the place afterwards. So, what is in the law right now? What are the penalties for doing so? Because this is a situation that Caymanians are facing right now, and there have been a lot of people who have went back home that are on work permits, which leaves a lot of apartments or homes available for rent.
Well, I think to a large extent, supply and demand will take care of it. If the people have left it empty, I don't think the landlord will be putting on too many restrictions. Now he won't get it rented. But there's no penalties that I am aware of in the law if somebody refuses to rent you an apartment, because it's going to be very difficult you have to have some documentation to prove that it wasn't that it was discriminatory. That's going to be right.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, O.C. Good morning, Ezra.
Good morning, sir.
What I wanted to mention today, I know my cousin Alman called in about people standing up in the sun and all that, and that's kind of unfortunate for older people. But on the other hand, as I understand it, and I got information from reliable sources, that one of the things that helps to get rid of this coronavirus is having your body stocked with vitamin D. And I think that the sunshine is one of the...
To get rid of it? To rid yourself of it?
Yep. And this comes from my doctor, Dr. Al Sayers, and I rely on him. Everything he told me has been good. And he wrote a piece yesterday. I got it on
and it's not to prevent you from getting it. You're saying once you've gotten it, that the vitamin D gets rid of it?
Yeah, it prevents you from getting it.
Oh, there's a difference between preventing and getting rid of, caller. We need to make a distinction between the two.
Yeah.
Don't want to mislead people.
No. When you load it with vitamin D, because it's a thing within the genes, and I don't know. Ezra would know more about this, what it is, but he explained in his thing, to his email that he sent to me, was that I don't know if you got or saw the copy of a thing I sent to you on WhatsApp the other day or yesterday about this Dr. Shiva, Shiva he's an Indian. He's the guy that started the email thing. Very, very educated man. He's running for office in Boston. And this guy, when you hear him speak, he knows everything. I mean, he's a genius, because at 14 years old was when he invented this email system. Then he went to college. He got a lot of things behind his name. But he talks about it, and if you can get that little thing that I sent to her yesterday on WhatsApp, and look at that, and maybe Ezra, if he hadn't seen it as well, because this guy is running for office in Boston, and he is telling everybody that this whole thing is a setup. It has nothing to do with anything other than government wants to control.
Anybody running for political office now, and I'm going to be extremely skeptical of anything that they tell me in relation to coronavirus, including some who are in office already.
Yeah, I know but he was there. He was shooting this before. He got a big crowd. They can't touch him, and he talks about this guy that Fawcett or something like that his name is, that's working with Trump, and how he has met with Trump and told Trump about all the stuff that's going on, because you see, it's all has to do with what they call the deep state.
Really?
And you got the what do you call it, the world order.
Don Quixote Mills. Anyway, the only caution I would offer up on loading yourself up with vitamin D is that your body stores vitamin D, and it does have some overdosing in vitamin D. It has some side effects that you would want to consult your doctor first for any underlying cases that, and because your body stores vitamin D, so you can overload your system with vitamin D. It's not like vitamin C, which your body don't store. You can take as much as that. You're just going to go flush it down the toilet if you don't need it.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller, for that. We have to go to a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. Lots of WhatsApp messages. And how many callers do we have on hold still, Miss Susan? Possibly one caller. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
This is a public service announcement from your Radio Cayman, your community radio station. Here are some coronavirus prevention tips. Frequently cleanse hands with soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing. Avoid close contact with people suffering from acute respiratory infections. And avoid travel if you have a fever, cough, or flu-like symptoms. For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/coronavirus.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
10 o'clock. Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm going to share several WhatsApp messages with you. This one reads, good morning, Mr. Connor. I'm sure you realize this point, but I wish to endorse what Mr. Miller said about discrimination being punishable or preventable under Part 1 of the Constitution, but that is unfortunately not yet covered by any law currently in force. We desperately need a new landlord and tenant law. And yep, Mr. Miller agrees with that. This one reads, good morning. Few things that I have been thinking about. Government owns the water authority, and the offer to not disconnect could be abused and will be abused. That will put more pressure on government's finances. Also, telling people that they can put off paying their debts is a slippery slope. We need to be careful that we don't create a mindset of dependency on the government. I often recall the German proverb, charity sees the need, not the cause. I am not saying that that we should not be caring. God bless all. Very good points there. Some other ones that I need to read. This one says, good morning, Mr. O.C. Can you ask Mr. Miller if anybody in Frank Sound is on his WhatsApp group, because we haven't seen or heard from him since the crisis?
Yeah, there are several people in Frank Sound that are on the district council mailing list and on WhatsApp group. But I'm doing what the government asked me to do, right? I'm staying home and I only go out very occasionally to check to make sure that the police are doing their job and that things are. But I deal with a lot of people and a lot of issues on a daily basis. So if anybody in Frank Sound is having a particular problem, my WhatsApp number is 327-5757, because there's some new people moving out there over the last year that I have not met yet. But I'm available on the phone. My email is ezra.kandawake, or you can go to my office, nsmla@kandawake. So I'm always available to try and assist people, and that's my job.
Excellent. This one reads, good morning, Mr. Miller and Mr. Connor. Why is it that government cannot get in some doctors and nurses from overseas and some local workers to go around and basically do a census and swab each member of the household going from district to district? So if you start in West Bay, by the time you get to Georgetown, results will start to come back and you can continue on to different districts. What's your view on that?
Well, you're not going to swabbing people unless you have the lab facilities to deal with it, right? And I am not au fait with enough to say that there may be an expiration date on when somebody is swabbed to when the test can be applied accurately, So I think the government has said it is trying to ramp up its ability to do more tests. They've bought quite a number of tests from South Korea. Dr. Lee was explaining it yesterday that they're in the process of, and I think our doctor's hospital is in the process of getting a machine that they can assist with the test. The health city doesn't have a machine, but they have space because all of this has to be done to very, very strict control standards and preparation, and so you don't get cross contamination and incorrect results. So I think that what might be a better thing for government to do once we get to where we can do the test, instead of expecting to test every single person, that would be the ideal situation, right? But that's utopia in many respects. But we should be able to statistically sample the districts to get an indication of what's out there in the community as opposed to doing everybody. Because a lot of these medical policies and stuff rely on statistical sampling and averages, and it's all done scientifically. So that's what I would suggest that the government move towards getting to eventually.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Ms. Susan, I think we have a WhatsApp on there as well. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning, Mr. Miller.
Good morning, ma'am.
Just want to make reference to what two of your previous callers said concerning the virus. I have spoken to quite a few people also that said they picked up flus, and this was somewhere between December and January. And some of these people are people, who don't get flus, but however, they picked up what they call the flu and couldn't seem to get rid of it. And it also had a persistent cough. I remember one night one of them called me, and they were having difficulty breathing, and they just thought it was their nasal passage, that was clogged up. But anyway, I was just telling them about the inhalation of the albus oil and stuff like that, just to try to help clear their nasal passage. And so I said that to say that your caller who spoke about it, it is very possible that virus could have been in Cayman much earlier than we know. And as far as the testing to see if you had it, that test is available, and that might be something that the government might be wanting to look into so that they can check to see anyone that suspect that they might have had it, that they could also have that test done, that we will get a proper count of who actually had it here in Cayman. And that's if they want that information. And the caller who spoke about the vitamin D, I've been watching and following Chris Cuomo, Governor Cuomo's brother, because he's sharing his experience with it. And he said his doctor told him that he needs vitamin D. It's very important for him to have it, lots of it, in order to help him fight this virus. Not to prevent it, but to fight it. Because I don't hear this being said here, but I've been following the CDC and all of these doctors that are talking about it. And one of the symptoms they've now discovered that goes with this virus is that it attacks the lower GI tract. And people were wondering why everybody was running out buying toilet paper. Well, obviously they knew. And so it attacks the lower GI tract as well. And I know that there is some correlation with vitamin D deficiency and your intestinal functions. I guess Mr. Miller could explain that better than me. But I just wanted to say that on the virus. And then the other thing I wanted to say, which I spoke about this a couple of times already, is this whole system that the banks are trying to operate on, which is clearly defeating the purpose of everything that the government is trying to accomplish. I know I asked about it last week, and someone sent the information as to what the banks are doing. I didn't want that information. I know what they're doing, and my argument is it's not working. So I was hoping that this is something they would revisit and try to put another system in place. Because my suggestion was that either extend the banking hours and or open a second location so that with the alphabetical system, less people would be turning up to the location they choose to go, like share the island in half, But the system they have in place is clearly not working. They have these numbers, you call them, you could sit on it all day, you're not getting an answer. You don't know who to email because you don't know who's working where. So, and there are a lot of transactions that cannot be done with a debit card or at the ATM machine. And if you could even get an answer on the phone, sometimes it could save you having to physically get up and go to the bank. So I would plead with them, please revisit the system they have in place. It is not working.
Caller, for that. Time for us to take a commercial break. And when we return, I think we have a voice note that we're going to share with our audience
Just
as well.
to say that,
Sure, Mr. Miller.
I was not trying to indicate that vitamin D might not be helpful. All I was saying is that your body stores up vitamin D, so consult your physician before you take massive doses of it, just so that you don't have any,
Yeah, I mean, these anecdotal solutions that are coming up, they may work for some and not necessarily for others. That's why we have to be careful how it is promoted.
Because it depends on what your underlying systems are.
Exactly.
If you're taking your vitamins regular, etc. Because remember,
no two bodies are made alike.
The old Popeye story. Popeye used to eat one can of spinach and pick up a container. Today, you eat a container full of spinach, you get the same amount of vitamins you got out of that little can.
Exactly. Yep. Commercial break time, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Vamped Motors encourages everyone to stay home in compliance with our government's directives, which are absolutely critical to protect our islands from the coronavirus. In light of this, Vamped Motors will be closed from Wednesday the 25th of March for 10 days, or until our Cayman Islands government gives us the all-clear to return to work. Please, everyone, be safe and let's get through this together by staying apart.
A public service announcement from Radio Cayman. Coronavirus prevention tip.
For persons who think they may have symptoms, you owe it to your family, to your friends, and to the community. You have a moral obligation, if you think that you may have been exposed, to withdraw from community activities and to stay at home until a safe period has expired. The elderly among us are particularly vulnerable, and not isolating in many instances will be the same as imposing upon those people a death sentence. Please understand the seriousness of that. We are encouraging everyone to be as responsible as you can possibly be during this very, very difficult and critical time.
For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/public-health/coronavirus or gov.ky/coronavirus.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA Mr. Ezard Miller. That voice note, are we going to go to the voice note now, Miss Susan. Here we go.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. I'm Mr. McLean. I listen to your program every time and it's so interesting, and thank you for no good work. I have a point here. I'm the tenant at the premises. The yard do not have any fence around it, and the landlord couldn't come here. They asked me to assist them to take care of the dogs. They have 2 dogs there, but they're in a cage right nearby the gate. So I went there Sunday morning. That was the curfew, hard curfew. So when I opened to get them feed, one of them run out and run on the side of the road about 20 feet from the gate, from the entrance. And I went there to get him back. So as I catch him and turn back, and I look up the road, because it's a side road, I see the police coming. But I didn't know it's me coming too. I think he just patrolling past, and he stop and blow and call me and say me breach the contract, breach the law, and ask me what my name and so forth, and saying can prosecute me. It's $500, and I said, well, officer, at this time I need that $500 now. I cannot afford that, so I want to know what is right. I want to hear what you have to say about that.
Couldn't have been worse timing.
Yeah. I mean, the person whose dogs is looking afterwards, you try and help him.
Yes,
and pay it.
yeah.
But I mean, he's broke the curfew. So.
And was that in did that occur when the police had the ability to write tickets, or is he required? He's required to go to court.
It only started yesterday.
Yeah.
So he has to go to court.
He has
to
go
go to court and
and
plead with the judge.
Yep. You would hope that you would get some compassion from the judge once you explain the situation, but definitely that's the case. One positive one here says, due to the current situation with the coronavirus and not keeping any church services, I suggest to promote our thankfulness, all of the churches should ring the church bells on Good Friday and Easter Sunday. We have lost the custom of not ringing the bells on Sundays. Perhaps this is a good time to show thankfulness to our God, as we have been lucky so far. And that's good for those churches that have church bells. I don't even know if they build them these days with church bells.
You can toll a bell now, because you
yes.
remember the elders used to ring that a certain way.
Yep.
To call it to church to announce different things at certain speed or whatever.
And I believe we have more storefront churches now than we have those that are, as well. But it's an excellent idea.
It's a good idea.
It's a good idea for those districts that have churches with bells, for them to do that as well.
Our church has one. I'll have to go and see if it's working.
Yeah, and this one says, good morning, Mr. Connor. I beg that you mention and ask the question, or perhaps enlighten us on the issue of what the policy is in relation to those persons hired by government as new civil servants, but who were prevented from starting work due to the COVID-19. Unfortunately, we who are in that position have been effectively left in the dark. Thank you for your consideration. Well, I would say that if they have signed their employment agreement with the government and there is a specific start date on that, if that start date has gone by and you're prevented from starting because of the policies that government has in place, which is basically you work from home if you can, that they should be paid for whatever period of time if the start date on their employment agreement with the government is in force. What say you, Mr.
It's a contract.
Miller?
It's a contract.
Mm-hmm.
It's enforceable. So.
Yeah, that would be my advice. But of course,
and
the best
talk
way
to the person who he's going to be employed by.
Right. The person who signed the employment agreement, or maybe get in touch with the portfolio of the civil service as well. That's under Miss Gloria McPhail Nixon as well, to find out what position. But I would say the key to all this is if you have signed an employment agreement already with the government, that should have some legal effect. And of course, I'm not a lawyer. This one reads, good morning. Maybe this year's strain of flu has in some elements of COVID-19. Also, do you know whether there are any tracer studies on the folks who have been tested in Cayman for COVID-19, and whether those who tested positive or negative each has any connection with them taking the normal flu shots in 2019 or early 2020? This correlation may determine whether the flu shot may either help or hinder the COVID-19 virus. Just a thought, Mr. Miller.
I think it's a good idea, but I wouldn't recommend that the government spends its limited resources on that kind of research right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think our efforts now should be on prevention, and because in Cayman we're not talking about flattening the curve, we're talking about keeping it with a make no rise at all, and we've been doing a pretty good job.
Yes.
But again, I think there's substantial difference between influenza and coronavirus. I don't, and I'm sure that that's being looked at in many labs all over the world.
I'm sure, and afterwards they will follow up on things like that as well to see whether or not there is any correlation. One caller, let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, OC and Mr. Miller.
Good morning. How are you?
Boy,
hope you're staying safe.
Yes, I will. I am.
Good.
Yes, OC, this thing with the banks, this is the first thing I want to address. It's ridiculous to know that the banks are charging $50 to $700.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. OC, what I have noticed or sort of not listened to is that with the Cuba situation, Cuba has a lot of, I gotta say, outstanding and remarkable doctors over there. I have never really heard the premier or the governor mention anything concerning Cuba.
The Minister of Health, the Minister for Health did, Minister Seymour.
They've already amended the necessary regulations to allow the Cuban healthcare professionals to come here and be registered as similar to those who work at Health City on the institutional registration, if the need arises for them to come to seek help. And they have. It is my understanding that they have also asked for some help. I think the number that the minister said was somewhere between 50 and 100. Something like that. But I know that I have seen the notice in the Gazette that allows it to happen.
I see. But why none of the Cuban doctors haven't really been here now?
Because we're not at the point where we need them yet.
Yes.
You see, I mean, we do.
I would think that you shouldn't reach to the point where we need them, the point that they can suggest more than what we have here, that what we should really be doing. Because, I mean, a population like Cuba, and if they seem to have it under control, then I would think that we should reach out and sort of have them here now. Don't wait till it arises. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, well,
but the reason that they have it under control in Cuba doesn't necessarily directly relate to the practitioners there, but the policies that the government has in place more so than anything else. They're there to to treat after the fact. So the effective measures that are in place in Cuba are due to the policies, and that has resulted in what they report as the low number of cases.
Yeah, and I think they're doing the whole population. They're not doing.
Go ahead, caller.
Well, the prevention to me is best to have things in place that if it does reach here at any statistical situation, that we will have things more in control. We shouldn't wait till it get to us that we out of control to start to do things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable with what they have done so far, and that they are trying to make provisions for it. And we only have 2 people in hospital here now. So we can keep it at that level. We'll be okay. We shouldn't need anybody from Cuba.
Mm-hmm. The caller does have a point, though. And the point that I would make and support him would be the fact that when they do arrive, in most instances or every instance that I've seen so far, they have been put in quarantine for 14 days. So you lose 14 days in the process.
Yeah.
Also, hello?
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Yeah. On Sunday, I had the privilege, I would say, to witness a helicopter being landed in front of the bakery, which opposite where Panama Canal is.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was sitting on in front of the bakery, and a police officer was coming in there on one of the police cars, and he told me that I need to be in the house. Well, I said, well, I'm in my yard. The bakery is in my yard. It's all one lot.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, no, it said it's supposed to be in your house. And I didn't hear that on the radio, but you have to be inside your house.
No, you can be within your property.
Yeah. I was on my property, and the way how he acted didn't seem really too helpful to me, because this is, the noise that a helicopter makes when it's landing up less, but I was just about 100 and something feet away from your property. Now, that it gave me concern. I could see them overhead, and I wondered what was going on. You understand? I didn't know what the position was. I didn't, and I'm right next door there. I wanted to see with my own eyes,
Yeah.
And it didn't seem too right to me, with the police officer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. The clarification on that is that you're allowed, even with the hard curfew, you're allowed to be, on your property. You can't go outside of your property, like we heard with the previous, one of the previous callers with the dog, where he was outside of there. But it does seem as if, because there was another case, I heard a story about a family playing dominoes in their yard. And they were told they were all living in the same household, and they were all told that they couldn't be, together in there, and that was incorrect. And the commissioner of police said that he would correct that with his officers. I think that they need to ensure that all of the police officers are au fait with the regulations and what they say, as well. Time for us to take a commercial break, and we have one final caller after we come from the commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Sending money to your family overseas shouldn't be a full-day process. Stop waiting in lines. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide, offering 3 convenient locations: Shedden Road, Baden Water Sports in West Bay, and at FIS Brack Agency in Cayman Brack. MoneyGram by Financial Integrated Services. Visit FISCayman.com for more information on MoneyGram services. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
A public service announcement from Radio Cayman.
You're pressing for everyone to use their good conscience. Don't be selfish in respecting the suggested distance of 6 feet and the washing of hands constantly. Please check on your neighbors and especially our elderly. Also, persons who have chronic lung disease, diabetes, bronchitis, cancer, or asthma. Check on your family members and isolate them soonest as possible. I ask those persons who smoke until it's clear, please do not put anything in your lungs that are not natural. You may well be increasing your risks. This includes vaping. Self-isolation is very important for our country's ability to bounce back quickly to some normalcy. This disease is not prejudice.
For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/public-health/coronavirus or gov.ky/coronavirus.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show. Phone lines have been closed off except for this last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Miller.
Morning.
Mr. Miller.
Morning.
Oh, good
Hello.
morning.
Good,
Listen
yeah.
to me.
Uh-huh.
A while ago, you all were talking about these flu shots and stuff, right?
Right.
And you all know, I don't know how many more can remember me with the lupus situation.
Yep.
But, I can't remember the number of years that I've had this flu shot. But I've had mine up until the most recent one.
Right.
And okay, another thing now, I'll speak a little bit about the lupus for them people that got the radio that they can listen to me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They say that you can get a little bit of hot sun, like 15 minutes and all like that. Get a bit of sun there. No, don't do that. If you got a space in your yard, you can get a bit of shade and get a bit of sun coming through. That's fine. But don't go there for no 15 minutes now and but no get no hot sun because you get sunstroke.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people too, Mr. O.C. and Mr. Miller have been getting these strokes and all this. But I still believe some of them people were the lupus people too. Understand what I'm saying, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? So I'm going to leave it right there. And another thing, no, I'm not leaving it right there. People is calling concern. I'm going to say, the young people say, bigging up the government and everyone else that is doing such a great job. But not many are saying thanks to the Lord, to the good Lord. Because now, they say common sense, not so common anymore either.
Mm-hmm.
But then the thing like this, he is putting it through the government and all the others. Hello?
Yep.
The thing that should follow because there's a lot of big countries and cities and all of this, and they're just now doing the things that we have started doing from early.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Give thanks to the good Lord because He is good and He's good all the time. All the time He is good.
Yep. Okay.
I'm going to leave it right there now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Have a great day. Mr. Miller, closing comments from you, sir.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit, we'll see, before we shut down about this Easter weekend.
Yes.
Normally in our side, we make a lot of preparations for people to come over the Easter weekend. We usually get the DART people to open up Starfish Point, and we get garbage containers, we get additional portable toilets, we get extra police coverages. I want to make it clear that the government policy is shelter in place. And we are not making any preparations at all for anybody to come up there over the Easter weekend to camp out as families. I'm getting reports that some of the people who rent houses in Cayman Kai are continuing to do so, which is again against the government stay shelter in place. I understand that one house in particular is being rented to 10 people, and while there are not too many families in Cayman that are 10 in the same household, they may all be families, but they're most likely to be coming from different households, and that is a no-no.
Yes.
I am going to ask the police who patrol north side to stop people who are coming in there and going down in that area, to find out that that's what they're coming for, and if that's the purpose they're coming for, to send them back home, because we don't the people who would normally from our community who would tend to do the cleaning, etc., do not wish to be exposed, and we're saying to ask people to please obey the government's requests. Shelter in place. There'll be plenty of time once we get over this to come up to Cayman Kai for a weekend and enjoy yourself. But we have made no preparations for any influx of people in the Cayman Kai area in terms of the public beaches to facilitate people. To the best of my knowledge, the Dart people have closed their beach, and the gate is locked and it is not open for any campers or anything. So I'm hoping that will be reinforced by the Department of Tourism, because these people should not be promoting rentals to these houses. And I understand further that they're also telling some people in the area who have some Caymanians who have booked, because a lot of people book from one year to the next and paid, that they can't get their money back. I don't think that is kosher. I think people should be, the only alternative they have is to book for next year. I don't think that is kosher, and I have will be speaking to the Department of Tourism to try and do something about it. I've already spoken to the minister, and he assured me that the Department of Tourism will be sending out something about it yesterday. So again, I want to specifically appeal to two people, Jim Levitt and Peter and Pennicumber, to not continue to rent these houses up there and encourage a lot of people to come up there and break the government shelter in place.
Exactly,
just
because
for
they
money.
shouldn't. They shouldn't be.
That's a deliberate. And these people should be.
They should only be on the road to travel to go to either their.
You're not allowed to go to supermarket, hospital, pharmacy, etc. Right? You're not allowed to
not
go
to travel from one district to the other. To take yes,
not
exactly. So they would definitely be in breach of that. And then, of course, the hard curfew days, they can't be out there at all.
Exactly. And then that's in the middle of the weekend. So, but I understand that, and I've seen email trails to so just appealing to them not to rent them, and appealing to the Caymanians to follow the government's recommendations. I agree with what the government has put in place, with the shelter in place and the social distancing, particularly the shelter in place. So stay wherever you are.
With many issues that are going to arise after we get out of this crisis, where people are going to have grievances. We see, for instance, in the U.S., I think now there was a class action suit against some of the airlines because they're refusing to refund monies. I think American Airlines now change or have been ordered to refund people's money. Do you think that there may be a need for us to set up a special commission, whether it be in the Legislative Assembly or some sort of czar to deal with some of these issues that are going to arise, complaints and contentions that are going to arise after we get out of this crisis?
We should be able to deal with them through the normal process of the Complaints Commissioner, the Ombudsman, etc. But there are going to be instances like that people should be encouraged or should feel free that they have a place that they can go to get their grievance sorted. Right? Because to be telling people that they can't get their money back, but their only alternative is to book for next year, I think is a little bit draconian.
Yes.
Especially when the people need the money,
Precisely.
And these people need to treat people good, because there's going to be a period of time here when we start to relax these regulations, where they're going to need these people to come out there and rent these houses and et cetera, and do local staycations to promote, to keep people employed and to promote the business from local people. So there'll be ample opportunity to do it rather than break the government condition of shelter in place.
Okay, Mr. Miller, I want to thank you very much for being here today. Thanks. I want to thank our viewing, listening audience also for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, into your places of work. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you...
one more thing, I just got an inquiry about people who may own condos up there and want to come up. That is still against the government's shelter in place.
Yes.
You're sheltering in the place that you are now.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. Yes.
So,
precisely. Yep. So I encourage you to continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling, Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Good Friday is on Friday, a holiday, no show.
I'm doing the talk shows today, and then
Monday,
I'm coming back out again for another 3 weeks.
Monday is Easter Monday, no show. I haven't been asked to have a show. If I'm asked to, we certainly would have one, because we know a lot of people are going to be stuck at home with not a whole lot to do. They won't be on the beach where they wouldn't normally listen to us. So if there's a craving to have a show on Monday, let management know, and we see what happens. If not, enjoy your holiday. Have a great day, and God bless.
And I'll see you in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Yes.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.